I'm Amanda Tano. For those of you that don't know me, I've been with the brand for 10, 11 years now, a long time. I started out really kind of cherry picking between several different lines for great coverage, for reds, for blondes. And then once I discovered ASP, everything really just worked for me. And I loved that I could just reach to one color line to get everything I need. There's really no stone unturned when it comes to ASP as a company. I love everybody that I work with. I love everybody that I'm dealing with ordering and, with obviously Laura and Michael and everything just as a whole with the company. So it's a really great company to be a part of and to be a part of the innovation of new hair color that we've never really had before. Okay. So where are we from? What are we about? So a little bit about our company. We are born in Britain. Okay, so we're a UK-based company. Everything is manufactured over in the UK and then brought over here to the US and then distributed out from the US to all of you guys, okay, in Canada. So research and development is done by a guy named Nicola Summer. He comes from a family of hair color chemists. So he's taken everything that he's learned and modernized it. So if there's anything that we want or we need, we say, hey, we really would be interested in X, Y, and Z. And next thing you know, they go in and create it. Okay. So it's really a brand made for stylists by stylists. Okay. Our founder, Eric Bailey, he is very much still involved within the company. He's the original salesman of it, and his wife was a hairdresser, and they wanted a brand that was geared towards the hairdresser. Okay. Not many brands, I don't know of any other brands that are actually made for the hairdresser. Okay. And not the mass public of people. So this is really a made simple, made easy brand geared towards the stylist in mind, whether it comes to cost, efficiency, and productivity. Okay. Where is ASP in the world? We're in over 50 countries worldwide. That list is constantly growing. So it's funny when you're talking with clients about it, you're talking with another stylist about it, they say, I've really never heard of it. Is it a small brand? It's not. We're nationwide. We're a global company. And again, we're in over 50 countries nationwide. So I like looking at this map of all the flags because it gives you a nice sense of where everybody is in the world. Okay. So our mission statement at ASP is to use knowledge, research, innovation, and technology to create superior, safe, leading-edge products that inspire passion, creativity, and reassurance for the salon professional. Okay. Again, we are a line made for stylists by stylists, and some of you, I know this is your first virtual class, so welcome. Those of you that have been in our virtual classes, you guys can see the passion that is behind all of our team, and we just want to share that with everybody. We believe that, knowledge is power, and you guys are spending the time to learn a new line and to get the best out of that line possible. And we love to be able to create that, professional environment for you guys. The opportunity is infinite with ASP. Be the stylist you want to be with a brand that wants you to be your best. If you're a stylist that is just doing brown hair all day, great. We have the most awesome brunette colors for you, whether it's coffee shops, whether it's our B series. If you're a stylist that loves doing reds, our reds are second to none. They are bright. They are true reds. You don't have to brown them out. If you're a stylist that's just doing blondes, our toners make the hair feel incredible and shine from within. Okay. This brand really is geared towards everybody. And if you're bored with your current brand, you won't get bored with ASP. There's tons of different ways to alter your colors and to make them more fun and to give you a little bit more excitement with your work behind the chair. Okay. This is the DNA shield. So the DNA shield I know is a little bit more common in the UK, obviously, but since we're a UK-based brand, everything's manufactured there. We bring that over here to the US. Every decision we make with this brand is a commitment to making our world a more beautiful place. It's literally in our DNA. Okay, and we'll go into that right now. So we are over 90% naturally derived as a color brand. Okay, most of our ASP products are more than 90% naturally derived. That is saying a lot. And we've also been like that since the very, very beginning. This is not anything that's new with ASP. A lot of other brands are jumping on this bandwagon, and this is something that's new to them. This is not anything new to us. This is something, again, we've been like that since day one. Also, our packaging. Our package, over 99% of our packaging is also made with recyclable material to ensure all print materials are from sustainable resources as well. So a lot of people, like, you kind of see me up behind me, a lot of our products are in boxes, and people say, well, why do we have boxes? You know, why do we need to have all that extra packaging? Well, it's all renewable resources, so there's nothing extra about it, okay? It looks pretty on your shelves. At ASP, we also have absolutely zero animal testing, which is huge. And all of our ASP products are vegan friendly as well. Okay. We also have argan oil and shea butter built into our formula. So we'll talk about how healthy and conditioning and moisturizing our product is. But in addition to that, we also have the argan oil and shea butter added into it. And we're also completely sulfate-free and paraben-free, including developers. So here are some key features to ASP, and we'll talk about this. I'm not going to go through this whole list, but we'll talk about all of these in between this class today. But pretty much we're naturally derived, like we've talked about, workable viscosity. The texture to our color is very nice and workable. I know a lot of you have been playing with the color and using the color. And so the viscosity of it, it's very simple to apply. Where you apply your color, it's going to stay. It's not going to drip down your client's face, which is always the most unpleasant thing as a client and a stylist to go in and work with, okay? Our ammonia content is ultra low. We have 100% gray coverage, large tube size. Okay, all these things we'll touch base on as we go through the presentation today. And of course, our GPS technology, which is going to give us superior results and gets our color processed in the most efficient way possible as well. Okay. Candy, I see we have some comments in the chat. Is there any questions so far?
Actually, it's just people saying how much they love ASP and how nicely that the color spreads. And somebody just said that they had questions earlier, but I'm sure that you'll answer them and cover that as we go along.
Perfect. Awesome. Thanks, Candy.
You're welcome.
Okay, so getting into more of the nitty gritty, which I know some of you guys are going to be into, some of you guys are going to say, okay, I don't, just tell me how it works. Okay, so the basis of INFINITI is our technology. The basis of ASP as a company is our technology. This is what we pride ourselves on. Our technology in our INFINITI color is called GPS technology. Now, GPS technology, or GPS, we're all really familiar with on our phones or in our cars, okay? GPS in our cars or on our phones get us to our location in the most efficient way possible, for the most part, right? Unless we're doing Waze or something. But with GPS technology in INFINITI, that is going to take our color to the cortex of the hair in the most optimum and efficient way possible. So what that means is that we are going to be able to do more with less, okay? We're able to keep our ammonia content very, very, very low. We have a 0.2 ammonia content, which is also a working ammonia. And what that means is that by the time the color's done processing, that ammonia is dissipated from the hair. There's no trace of ammonia that's left back on the hair. We know ammonia is going to shift open that natural, or that cuticle. So if we have any ammonia that's left on the hair, okay, that's going to fade out and rinse out and everything. So with that working ammonia, we're able to really retain that cuticle in the most optimum condition possible and keep it nice and closed down for us. Because we're using that GPS technology and getting that color to the most optimum location in the cortex, we're also able to give 100% gray coverage, okay, on any type of hair. The way our coverage looks is very reflective, okay? It's not very opaque. It's not very heavy. It doesn't sit heavy in the hair. It's very natural looking. That's what, I mean, my bread and butter is gray coverage behind the chair, right? We are doing gray coverage day in and day out. I don't care if you're doing balayage on top of it or highlighting, whatever it may be, gray coverage is what we're mostly doing. And my clients love that it's not very opaque. It doesn't look like they've gotten their hair colored. It grows out very natural, picks up those highs and lows in the hair, and it's just very reflective. Some people, it takes a transition for them to kind of get used to that because they're used to colors that have more of that green or that blue base, that heavy sitting color in them. And there's ways that we can kind of play with it to transition them very softly. And we'll go into that in just a little bit. But that's very much how our coverage is, very reflective, very natural, which makes it so unique. Our mixing ratio is also 1 to 1.5. Okay, so with our tube sizes, they're 3.4 ounce tube sizes. So you're getting a lot more for your money. And in today's world, that goes far, right? So we're using more developer for color, which makes us get at least 2 to 3 applications per tube size, which is huge. We have the ability to have 2 different processing times. We have a 45-minute processing time at room temperature, or we can have a 25-minute processing time under a dryer, okay? And we have over 120 shades within our color range as well. So there's definitely, like I said before, something for everybody. Okay, again, over 139 shades, every tool, every need for every single stylist. So the swatch book, the fun stuff, okay? So in our swatch book, we are categorized out into sections, which makes it very easy to reference any of your color in your color cabinet. Okay, we have our natural shades, which range from a 10.0 down to a 1.0. And these are all going to be whatever occurs naturally at that level. So if you guys can imagine a little girl's level 6, okay, she has that light brown, pretty, beautiful hair. Out in the sun, what do you typically see? Maybe a little bit more warmth, a little bit more red to her hair, okay? It's really glistening through. That's how our naturals are going to appear. Other brands have neutrals. Those neutrals have green, blue, purple, or even red bases added into them, okay? And those are going to counteract those underlying tones. So ours are what naturally occurs at that level. So if you want something that's a tried into level 7.0, okay? So then we go over to Essentially Natural. That gets into our OX series. Our OX series is made for that coarse resistant hair. Coarse resistant hair is going to be, these can be added into any of your other colors whatsoever. And again, we'll talk about gray coverage and how to add these in the next slide or two, but these are the OXs, okay?
Can I just ask real quick, how many people are brand new to ASP, or how many is this just a refresher class too? And you could just like put that in the chat real quick, just so we kind of know that Amanda's like telling you the right thing. And oh, okay, we have a new user.
Okay,
Adrian,
awesome.
yes. So she raised her hand. Refresher. So there's a couple of refreshers and a couple new. I was just wondering, just because like the ones that have already had an experience with it, like there'll be like some troubleshooting questions maybe.
Totally. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Kitty.
No.
And so then we also have our 00s. So 00s are interesting, especially for those of you that are newer to the brand. 00s are actually warmer than your natural without yet being gold. Okay, so what does that mean? So typically in other color lines, you have an AA, an NN, whatever it may be, and that's going to be double pigmented for gray coverage. We don't need that. Okay, our version of that would be the OXs if you were going to necessarily put it in that same category. But our OOs are just extra warmth. So when would you use those? I use these a lot when I'm going in and low lighting someone. If I'm going in and low lighting them and they just want to see a slight difference, I know their hair is very porous. Maybe they're a blonde, they're very porous. They don't want to go gold. Okay. They're always afraid of going too gold. I just want to do something very soft, very natural, a little bit of warmth to it. That's when I'll go in and low light with maybe a 7.00, an 8.00. Maybe I have someone, even like myself, that has, I'm about a level 3, 4 dark root naturally, and say I want to go a little lighter. Well, we know warmth reflects light, but I'm not necessarily wanting to go straight gold. So what I'll do is those times that I want to go a little bit lighter, I'll just move myself over. So instead of being maybe a 4.0, I'll move myself into a 4.00. And that little bit of tonality shift makes me appear overall lighter. Does that make sense to everybody? I know a lot of times, like I said, we get them mixed up with being very cool, very opaque coverage, and they're just not meant to be that way. They're actually meant to be the opposite, a little lighter, a little brighter, a little warmer. Okay. They're really nice though for when, like I said before, your client's afraid of warmth. These are a really great way to introduce just a slight bit of warmth. Okay. A lot of times too, into your toners. How many times do we do a toner and we do ash, 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 and we need something else to balance it out, something else to brighten it up? Adding in that 00 is a great way to do that as well. Okay. Something that's not on this swatch book that I want to share with you guys is the 01 series. So we have the 4.0, 4.0x, 400, and then we also have the 401. Okay, so these are going to be the cool series. So these range from a 901 down to a 401. These are awesome. These are perfectly balanced, very cool, very natural colors. For those of you that are coming from a line that's a little bit more of an opaque coverage, you guys are really going to gravitate towards these 01 series. Okay, we fought so hard for these over here in the US, and we are so happy to have them. I love them for root shadowing. I love them for adding into my root colors to kind of cool off them a little bit. I love them for toning. I love them for using them straight away. I love using an 801 on a double processed blonde. It's the perfect beigey balanced color. Okay, so that's the 01 series. As you keep going through, you have your cool and sultry, your sun-kissed and sophisticated. Our most popular series by far is going to be our coffee shop collection. The 4036, 5036, 6036, 7036, 8035, and 9035. Those are by far our most popular collection across the globe, around the world. Okay, 4036, the most perfect chocolate brown, rich color ever. 7036, I love using it as a root color. I love using it as a low light on someone. Super beautiful. Especially now with winter time, everyone's wanting a little bit more richness, a little bit more warmth to their hair. Awesome to keep in your toolbox. These are also really universal. You can mix these with, some of our other like gothics and things to smoke them out and make them really cool. And they're very fun colors to play with. Okay. Then we have our warm and radiance. Okay, some of our popular colors here are going to be the 843. Okay, 74, 635. All of these colors are just going to be very rich, very coppery, very bright, very balanced, and again, a great tool to have in your toolbox if you're reaching for a lot of those copper colors within your current brand. And our reds, like I said before, our reds are second to none. They stand out against any other color brand whatsoever. A lot of times people see our reds and that's how they get introduced to our line. They're some of the most beautiful colors ever. 6652, 376, if you want to go a little bit more purpley, is really beautiful. Okay, how are we profiling our colors? So we are based on the number profile, okay? And our color star is no different from anyone else's. Our color star is the exact same color star, universal. Our numbers might be slightly off, okay? So here in our color star, we have 0.6 being red, 0.2 being violet, 0.7 being blue, 0.1 being green ash, 0.3 being gold, 0.4 copper. And then right here we have a 0.5, which is mahogany, which is every color except for green. Okay. When we are working with our colors as a number and we're saying, 6652, what does that mean? So our number before the decimal, I know this is recap for you guys, but just to recap it, number before your decimal is going to be how dark or how light it is, levels 1 through 10. Your first number after your decimal is going to be that tone that you initially see when you look at someone's hair. That's what's going to give you that shout ability. Okay, that's going to take on about 75% of your overall tonal range. That second number is going to take on about 25% of your tonal range. Okay, so it's just going to be slightly in there. You're going to kind of maybe see it when you're out in the sun shimmering through. That third tone is going to be your tertiary tone, and that's going to be anywhere from 2 to 7% of your overall color. It's just really in there to complement or neutralize anything that needs to be toned down a little bit. So that's going to be very, very softly in there. So when we look at this color, we know we have a level 6. Then we have our primary color being red, our secondary color being mahogany, and our tertiary color being violet. So it's going to be a very, it's going to be a level 6, which naturally has some red in it, okay? And it's going to be a red, kind of softer red because we have that mahogany in there and a little bit of violet. So if we go back to our swatch book and we look at that 6652, you guys can kind of get a visual of what that looks like in comparison to breaking down each of those colors, okay?
And I just wanted to ask if anybody has any questions. I see a few hands up and I know a few of you have messaged me directly, but if you have any questions, just go ahead and unmute yourself and ask, or just put it in the chat. But that's what we're here for. And we just want to be like we're hanging out with you and telling you about our wonderful brand. So somebody has a hand up. Jenna Lee, is that a question or did you just like, I don't know. Does anyone else see that?
It might have been from earlier when she was
Okay.
asking if she was newer to the brand.
Okay, she took it off. Perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure nobody had a question.
No, perfect.
Great.
So we also have some other support tools with our high lifts. How many of you guys have been using high lifts with your current brands right now, or have you just been so turned off from them because they're not giving you the results that you're wanting? You can type it in the chat. You can unmute yourselves. Anybody? Oh, I think you're muted, Candy.
I'm sorry, someone just said that they have very few high lift clients.
Okay. Okay, so not much of a need for them. Okay, so high lifts I love for when I'm going in and I don't necessarily need someone that is going to be a bleach blonde, or maybe they're like a level 7, level 6, and they're wanting to add some caramel highlights in. Typically what we would do is go through and highlight them and then go through and tone them. A lot of other brands, you can't get that full lift ability at those level 6s, and that's so different with ASP. With our ASP Infinity high lifts, you can get up to those 5 levels of lift, okay, on level 6 and lighter. So these give you awesome, pure, clean, lightening results in an efficient matter, okay? Like I said, these lift clean, these look beautiful. These are the most perfectly balanced blondes that there are. Some of my favorites are the 12771. So that's going to be a blue-based high lift. And that's beautiful on the level 6, level 7, 30 or 40 volume, the most incredible results, okay? They also have a high lift booster within those as well. So if you're needing a little bit extra, if it's not giving you exactly what you want, if you're worried that the hair is a little bit coarser, there's a 12OS. That to 12OS is going to be a booster. It's going to give you that additional level of lift within that color, okay? We also have our Gothic Grays. Our Gothic Grays are going to be our 117 series. So it's going to be a green, green, blue series. that is going to give you a very fashion color. If you're wanting those silvers, those grays on trend, if you're taking your client back to gray, that's a really great way to tone out those yellow tones in their hair. It's a great way to add back in that silvery type hue to their color. I use them a lot on men's coloring. So if you guys are doing any sort of men's coloring, maybe you want to add on men's coloring to your services for the new year. Okay, it's a great way to up your ticket price and in a really simple, easy, effective way. The nice thing about these, I want to say note, is these all have QR codes on them. All of our colors within the brand have those QR codes as well as the boxes. So you can take your phone, slide it right over, and it'll pull up that info sheet. So it gives you all the mixing ratios, the timings, everything that you need to get settled within that color collection too, okay? So all of this, if I know it's a lot of information today, all of this is in those QR codes as well. Then we have our B reds. B reds are going to be a lift and deposit color system. Okay, this is going to give you those vibrant red results in such a short amount of time. These B red results are, again, that lift and deposit without having to pre-lighten the hair. And it's going to happen in 15 minutes under a dryer or 30 minutes without. Okay, so again, you're getting those intense reds, intense coppers, intense magentas without the need of pre-lightening. Okay, these are now in an on-scalp formula as well, so you can do those fun fashion reds in a short amount of time, roots to ends, one single step. Next up, we have the B Brown series. So if you're a girl that says, you know what, I don't need the fashion colors, I don't need all those crazy colors, I just do really pretty brown hair. Great, love it. We have something for you. Super simple. We have the B Brown series. So the B Brown series, again, it's going to play off of the B Red series in the sense that you don't have to pre-lighten the hair, and it's going to lift and deposit those caramel tones within the hair in just one step.
We just have a few questions. Yeah. So they are asking if the B Reds can be used as toners.
No, the B Reds are not toners. So these are going to be permanent colors. So these are going to be lift and deposits. So the only part of it that is a toner could be the semi-permanent refresher. So B Red comes as a permanent color, lift and deposit, you mix it with developer. The next time that client comes in, you don't need to use that B Red roots to ends again. All you would do is use that B Red with the developer at the root area, and then you would refresh with the B Red refresher. The refreshers are the complementary tones, but you don't need to mix a developer. So in that sense, the refreshers can be used as, say, a toner over anyone's hair.
And just the processing times again.
So it's going to be 15 minutes under a dryer or 30 minutes without. And that goes for B Brown as well.
Okay, I'm going to put that in the chat so everybody will have it.
Perfect. Yeah, and if the toner question, if that doesn't fully answer the question for the B Reds, let me know on that too.
Okay.
There's a couple different ways if you want to tone red. There's a couple different ways that we can achieve that.
Okay.
So the B Brown, yeah.
I wanted a real quick question because they were just asking about the processing times. Can you put it globally under the dryer or just in foils?
What do you mean?
If you were doing B Reds, can you put it globally under the dryer?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Like, does it have to be covered?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
It does not need to be covered. Yep.
Right.
So all of our color as a whole, you don't want to cover any of it. Actually, because of that working ammonia and that working pH, we want that oxygen to get into the hair. We want to be able to dissipate that. So any of our color actually, in whether it's infinity, permanent, high lifts, any of it does not need to be covered.
Okay. I think that's it. Does anybody else have any questions? Okay, I think we're good.
Perfect. Then we also have metallic toners. So for some of you that have been using the brand for a while, you've been familiar with our metallic colors. We've transitioned them over into a part of our metallic in a part of our toner collection. So along with our metallic toners, we have our demi-permanent toners as well. These are something that are mixed with converter, and we'll talk about converter in just another slide or two, okay? They're fully intermixable. They give you incredible shine. They give you, this is where I was talking about earlier, if you're doing blonde hair all the time, INFINITI is the brand for you because it's going to shine different. It's going to be very reflective, and all my blonde clients, I know Candy, you working behind the chair too, and especially being a blonde, our blondes shine different. They're just different. The texture of them is different. The feel of them is different. The way they look is very different than any other brand that's on the market. Okay, they're really nice creamy toners, which makes it very easy to apply to the hair as well. And they're going to be fully intermixable. So our toners and our metallic toners are fully intermixable. And then we have the intensives. So for those of you that say, I get bored, I need something new, I get really creative, these intensives are for you. We have 7 of the intensives that are pure unoxidized tones that are mixed into any of our permanent colors, any of our toners, to create truly one-of-a-kind results. Again, for those of you that have been with the brand for a little bit, we've been playing a lot with the intensives and creating fashion colors with them, okay, which has been really, really fun, a more permanent kind of a fashion color. And the great thing about INFINITI is if these are too much for you, if you say, I'm just not there yet, that's okay. We have over 139 colors. There's going to be a color for you. If you don't want to reach into the intensives right off the bat, don't reach into them. If they're too overwhelming, that's okay. You will get there. You don't need to use them. Our INFINITI color has every range, every shade imaginable that you could want. That's beautiful. You can use one color and have it be beautiful. You don't have to use the intensives. But as you get comfortable with the brand, it's very fun to create these really bespoke tones within the hair. Okay. So I don't want those intensives to scare you off the bat. So gray coverage. Let's talk gray coverage.
All right, Matt. This is Shauna. I just have a quick question. Hi, on the metallics.
Okay.
I don't use those a lot because they're scary to me. Can you use those as a toner as well? Did you just say that? Like,
yeah. Yep. So I love using the metallics as toners. So now you're able to use them with converter.
okay.
Okay, so they're going to be fully intermixable. So I use them a lot of times, like I said, mix into the toners. I love mixing in the violets and some of those rosy colors into any of my toners. It really just plays off nicely and is very, very soft. You want to think of the metallic toners as kind of being like a level 9, 10. So the base of it is very, very light. So you're not going to have those overwhelming results that you would if you were to use them straight.
Okay, I've never mixed the metallic toners in with my toners.
Yeah, it's very fun.
Do you do like half and half, or kind of whatever you feel like you need to do, or what you
whatever
want?
you feel like you need? Yeah, so whatever you feel like you need. So some of the violet ones, if I'm really working with someone that has very, very yellow in their hair, where I'm doing a lot of color correcting, I'm going to heavily load that up. If I'm doing someone that just needs a little bit, like I actually used, the color's been discontinued, but the blue, I used the blue in my toner this last time because I wanted to see what it would play off of. And it just really cut a little bit of that warmth out of it for me.
Okay. Do you use them by themselves too?
I personally don't. I personally don't. My clientele isn't so much into those fashion type shades, even though I have the ability to control the depth of them. I just don't have that clientele. So a lot of times I'm personally mixing them into any of my other toners, but they can be used straight away. And they're awesome used straight away. They give more of that metallic-y feel, that kind of brushed metal look.
When you say straight away, like you just put them, would you?
With converter.
Weave them in if you're doing a color, or put them?
Yeah, you could low light them in the hair. You could low light them in the hair, or you could do a gloss all over. I mean, Candy's had it where she's had the metallics roots to ends over her pre-lightened hair. And it was so fun, so beautiful. The nice thing too, is you have the ability to play with them. I know you use the brand, but for others that haven't, you have converter. So converter is going to be our demi-permanent developer mixed with these, and you can mix them 1 to 1, 1 to 1.5, or 1 to 2. So if they're going away on vacation and they want something fun for the week, I would mix it maybe 1 to 2. Okay, it's going to be very soft. They're gone for the week. After a week, it'll kind of be rinsed out. Okay, if they want something a little bit more heavy hitting, I'll mix it 1 to 1.
Okay, and you only use converter with those?
Correct. Yep.
Perfect.
If you still have the metallic activator, you can still use the metallic activator,
Yeah,
but they have been switched over that you can use you can use converter with them now too.
And you have to wait for that, like you have to wait, you mix it in your bowl?
I wouldn't. I typically just apply it right away.
If you're mixing the metallic and the toner together, right?
Yeah.
Or by itself, but if with toners, don't you have to wait? You
The
mix
toners, you do not need to wait.
Oh,
Yep. So the toners, yeah, correct. So the toners mixed with converter, you do not have to wait.
why
You
do
can if you want
wait
to.
like 5 minutes or 10?
You can. Some of the cooler toners you'll get a little bit of lift out of. So if you don't want that lift, then yes, definitely wait. But I typically don't.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
That's great to know.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say I have personally used these and they turn out beautifully on clean blonde hair.
Mhm.
And you can just mix it 1 to 1 for like deeper, darker, just extra shine to the hair, or you could do it 1 to 2 to make it just a little bit more sheer. But these are really beautiful and perfect on clean blonde hair too. So it doesn't have to be clean blonde. That's what Amanda does. And I have a lot that I do some low lights or just some like little peekaboos, and it just makes them feel like they have something special that time.
Yeah. And they shine different. Like the way the
Mhm.
metallic toners go in, they don't just sit on that hair. They go in and they're very reflective. It shines different within the hair, which makes it so beautiful and not such like a fake color, if that makes sense, right? Like it's very almost like naturally in there, naturally growing out from their head. It's really pretty.
So Candy, when you use the metallic toners by themselves, you'll just weave them in and let them sit the whole time process?
I do, and I mix it 1 to 1 because that's going to make it the strongest.
Okay.
And I just allow it to process the entire time, and sometimes a little longer because you know how you are with your own hair.
Yeah.
And it's so gentle that it's perfect. So if you happen to leave it on a few extra minutes, it's going to be great, fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Mhm.
Perfect. Okay, gray coverage. So this is for everybody. Let's talk gray coverage. So how do you find the perfect gray coverage for you? We have a couple different options. We have a 0.0, which we talked about earlier, just being very natural. Whatever naturally occurs at that level is where our 0.0s are going to lay. Then we have our 0.0, which is going to be the warmer natural. So this is going to be that warmer natural, but not yet gold. Then we have that 0.1 series, which is going to be our natural ash. And then our 0x series, which is going to be our extra gray coverage for resistant hair. Okay, let's say it together. 0.00 is not for extra gray coverage. We have a lot of tech calls that come in that say, oh, we use 0.00 and it came out so warm. Why is that? Well, that's the intention of it. Okay, it's meant to be warm. So if you're looking for something cooler, I would reach more for the 0.1 series or even the 0x series as well. Okay. Our gray coverage, you guys can see here, it gives you more of that natural finish. It gives you more of that believable finish, okay? We have 100% gray coverage over gray and white hair that you guys can see here. On the bottom here, we have some before and afters, and you can see the texture of the hair is night and day difference. It is softer, it's more manageable, it's very reflective. It's not on this one on the left, it's not an opaque coverage. Okay, it's picks up those highs and lows. It looks like it's growing out from her head naturally. And that is exactly what we want it to do. Okay. Again, on this picture on the right, this before and after, I love this one because it doesn't even look like the same head of hair. Okay, you can tell it's manageable. You can tell that the hair is more supple. You can tell that it looks like hair again. And that's exactly what our color does. You know, I've had clients come in that their hair just feels like that straw, it just feels coarse. It feels like their gray hair, you know, sometimes it gets that coarse texture to it. The color just softens it. Again, we have that argan oil, that shea butter to it. It makes it more manageable. And then this top picture is actually my husband, but we do Gothic on him. So he is one of those ones that I use converter. And again, we'll talk about converter, but I use converter on him with a 4117. I do it on his hair and I do it on his beard. And it's a very natural, believable finish. No one ever knows that his hair is colored, which is great. With converter, it gives a very soft grow out. With Gothic, it gives a very believable color to it. It's not red. It doesn't have those warmer undertones to it. It's very natural, very believable. So if you guys, again, are looking to reach into a new market, men's coloring is huge and a really great way to add on to your ticket prices coming up for the new year too. Okay. So how do we get gray coverage? We talked about we're using the 0.0, the 0.1, and the 0x. How do we get gray coverage? What we are going to do is we are going to take 25% of our natural series, which is that 0.1, the 0x, the 0.0, to 75% of your target shade. No matter how much gray, no matter how much white is in their hair, that's all that we're doing. Okay. So if you want to do that 6652 that we talked about earlier, that bright red, and you have someone with gray or white hair, you're just going to mix in 25% of your 0, your 0.0, your 0.0x, or your 0.01. It's not going to brown out or diminish any of your intensity in your target shade. Okay, all it's going to do is give a little bit more depth to that gray or white hair. Now, if you have someone with very coarse, very resistant gray or white hair, that's when I go in and drop a level. So instead of doing that 6652, I would just take them to a level 5. Okay, that's the only time that I would drop a level is for that higher amount of gray or white hair. Okay. Super simple, super easy. Here's an image of a client. You can see she has that coarser hair. So we went in with the 60X, we mixed in some 6.7 and 4117, and we mixed it with 10 volume. Our gray coverage is always going to be mixed with 10 volume, which I know is going to be a little bit different to some of you. I know some brands are kind of leaning towards this more now, but we are always going to be doing gray coverage with our 10 volume. Okay. Any questions so far on gray coverage? I know we had some new users, users.
There aren't any in the chat. So if anybody has any gray, please unmute yourself and ask her now.
Again, I know this is our bread and butter, so I want to make sure you guys get this. So we're mixing 1 to 1.5. So 1 part color to 1.5 developer. Okay, so if we have 10 grams of color, we're going to half 10, which is 5, add 10 and 5 together, which gives us 15 grams of 10 volume. Okay, my typical amount for gray coverage when I have clients coming in is anywhere from 50 to 60. So I am going to be up in this medium to thicker density coverage. I have clients that have a lot of hair, that have a lot of gray white coverage, and I need to be heavy hitting when I'm targeting them. So I'm going in with anywhere from 50 to 60 grams of color and then doing my corresponding amount of developer. Okay.
Amanda, can we just go over why not 20 volume for gray coverage? Because that's what we're all taught.
Yep. So I know this kind of breaks everything we learned back in beauty school, right?
Yes.
So 10 volume, we're doing more with less with ASP. With Infinity color, we're doing more with less. So we're able to keep that that color molecule molecular. So we're encapsulating that color molecule. So once it's going into the cortex of the hair, we're using very little ammonia just to open up the cuticle where we need it to be and get that color molecule in to the cortex in the most optimum way possible. When we're using anything higher than 10 volume, we're blasting open that cuticle and then getting the color molecule in. Well, that cuticle can't fully close down, so we're not able to keep that color fully in the hair. We don't need to use 20 volume when we're working with gray coverage. Again, it's more so about doing more with less. Our 10 volume, you're going to get 1 to 2 levels of lift, 20 volume, 2 to 3 levels of lift, 30 volume, 3 to 4 levels of lift. So our color is doing more as a whole. So we're able to keep it a little bit lower, a little bit gentler on the hair. So that's why we're not going in with 20 volume when we're doing any sort of gray coverage. Okay. If you're doing 20 volume, you're going to over open the cuticle, and again, overexposing it to extra warmth and things added into the hair. All right. I definitely use 20, 30, 40, but anytime I'm doing any sort of lifting work. Awesome. So application, you guys, application is essential. A lot of other color brands, since they're using high amounts of color molecules in their hair, they're using high amounts of every kind of chemical within their color. You can just tap the color on and it stays. With ASP, with INFINITI, we want to make sure that we're encapsulating that hair. We want to treat it as like a bleach retouch. We want to, heavily pack on that color, and that's going to ensure that we have the best results possible when we're doing any sort of gray coverage. Okay. Any other questions on gray coverage so far?
No, I think that we're pretty good.
Good. Okay, converter. We've talked about converter a couple times during this chat, and you guys are like, okay, well, what is it? So converter is able to take any of our permanent colors and turn them into a demi. So if you guys are booth renters, if you guys are in a suite that have very little space, if you guys are commission salons, this is going to be the product for you. So any of your permanent colors, so any of those 139 shades can now be transitioned into a demi color. So you don't need to have a full separate stock of a demi line. Okay, totally a game changer when it comes to space saving, money saving. For under $10, you completely change your stock load and magnify it. Okay, so we're going to do a 1:2 mixing ratio with this, similar to any other demi that's on the market. 1 part color, 2 parts converter. Okay, when we're mixing this, we want to mix it up and let it sit in the bowl from anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. During that 5 to 10 minutes is where the ammonia is being blocked. So we talked earlier, ammonia is what's opening up that cuticle. When we're applying a demi, we don't want to shift the natural pigment. We just want to deposit color. So during that 5 to 10 minutes, while that color is sitting in your mixed bowl, that ammonia content is being blocked. So then it'll just turn into a straight demi. Okay, where do we get that 5 to 10 minutes from? That's going to be based on our ammonia content within our color. At our lower levels, you have lower amounts of ammonia. At our higher levels, you have our highest amounts of ammonia, still very low, but definitely higher. So our levels, 6 through 10, you want to let sit for about 10 minutes before applying. Levels 5 and below, about 5 minutes before applying. Okay. When we are applying this, we can get up to 100% coverage on gray or white hair. So I actually use converter a lot of times on my clients that don't want a heavy grow out. Okay, they're not ready to commit to a full permanent color, whether it makes them feel old, whether it makes them feel like they're just not ready to commit to that yet, whether there's someone that maybe comes in a couple times a year. I'll use converter on them. Again, on dry hair, up to about 50% white, it'll give them 100% coverage. Okay. How we're processing these, it's going to be anywhere from 0 if we're toning. It might only be 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, all the way up to a full 25 minutes. So if you guys are doing any sort of gray coverage, any sort of, full color correcting or full color deposit, that'll be a full 25 minutes of processing with no heat on it. Okay. Any questions on converter?
I have one. Sorry, Shauna again.
Yeah, that's okay.
So
That's
with
what you're here for.
converter, I was, always like told when you use converter, you have to let it sit, right?
Correct. Yep.
On any color that you do, even the metallics or no?
So until we came out with the toners. So these are when we're mixed with anything infinity,
Okay,
that's where it needs to sit for that 5 to 10 minutes. If
okay.
you're going to use these with the metallic toners or the regular toners,
You don't
you
have to
can
let
use them and apply them instantly.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
people wanted, again, going back to how great and how stylist driven this brand is, people said, we want something that we can use right away. We don't want to wait that 10 minutes. And that's when we came out with the toners.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So toners, metallic toners, mixed with converter, use straight away. Anytime you're mixing the converter with anything within the swatch chart,
Okay.
that's going to be that 5 to 10 minute wait time.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep, you got it. So that 5 to 10 minute wait time, people say, what do you do? Time is money. I get it. I work behind the chair as well. What I do is I check my foils, check my bleach retouch, check my client's hair. I see what I need. I go back and I mix it and I keep stirring it. The more and more I stir it, the more and more that I'm pushing air through it, and it's going to release that oxygen and that ammonia content. Okay. By the time I bring them back, they're done processing. I get them over to the wash bowl. I take their foils out. Whatever it may be, get them rinsed out, do a light shampoo, towel dry. By then, 5 to 10 minutes has passed. I'm ready to go in and use my color. Okay. So I'm just working it in towards how it works for me. If I'm doing a pull through with it, okay, I have my root color sitting on and I'm going to gloss it through the ends. What I do is when I go mix my root color, I mix up my end color. I bring it back to the station with me, get my client draped, get their root color applied. By then, that color that's been sitting in the bowl for their ends can now be applied to their hair. Okay. So I'm really just working it for me. So I know in the beginning that takes a little bit of transition time, but it makes all the difference once you kind of make it work for you rather than working against the timer with it. Like I said, again, time is money. I get it. I work behind the chair. The difference though with converter and any other toners is the longevity. Even if you're only applying it for 3 minutes and you're at where it needs to be, the integrity of the hair, but also the longevity of your color. It's not going to rinse out in just 3 washes. I know there's other brands that say, as long as you leave it on the hair, that's the amount of washes you're going to get. And that's not the same with converter and infinity or our toners. Our pigment's different. Our pigment is more true. And it's going to go into the hair a lot differently than those other color brands. So that's going to be a major difference as well when you're going in and doing any sort of toning work or finish work with any of the converters or pull-throughs. Okay. Any other questions on converter? Okay. Nope.
I think we're good.
Good. Perfect. So low lighting, glossing, glazing, gray coverage, or gray blending, root glossing, anything like that, root smudging, okay, anything like that, converter. This is our decision tree. So if you guys say, I need something that's going to be a semi-permanent, what do I need? What is it called? Where do I grab it? It's right here. It's Hot Shots and our Be Red refreshers and also our color dynamics. Okay. So this is a really great tool for you guys to have to show you everything that we have within the brand. So we have our permanent color, which is Infinity. We have our lift and color system, which is going to be our Be Reds and our Be Browns. We have our tone on tone, which is our satin line. Okay. We also have toners and our metallic toners. We have our semi-permanent, which we just said was Hot Shots and the Be Red refreshers. We have our fashion colors, which are going to be our color dynamics. And we have our color correction products, which is Eraser and Quick Pigs. Okay, Eraser is a really great color removal system that is non-bleach based. And our Quick Pigs are sprays that are porosity equalizers. So those are really great tools to have in your toolbox, especially with winter and especially with clients going darker and everything like that, just the porosity of their hair. We also have some really great support products called Color Your Way. These are color thickeners. Comes in a powder and a liquid, so you're able to change the texture and the base of your color. We have Vitaplex, which we're going to talk about in just a minute, and we have our Kotoko protein additive. Okay, so these are all of our supporting products that we have within the brand at this time. We have some fun new things coming this year, but we'll talk about those later. This is just a little recap on our lighteners, okay? We have several different lighteners. I don't want to overwhelm you guys with them today. I know you guys are just getting into our permanent color. I don't want to overwhelm you with them. We'll just give you a little bit of a synopsis on them. This is great for you guys to reference. If you guys want to screenshot this, you guys are more than welcome to do that as well. I'll talk about some of my favorites that I use behind the chair a lot. Candy, if you want to input anything in as well, you're welcome to. But one of my favorites that I'm using a ton right now, and is our newest lightener that we had come out with, is going to be our System 9 lightener. It's up to a 9-level lift. It's on and off scalp. You can use it with 10 through 40 volume. I love highlighting with it. I love hand painting with it. I love it when it just has a nice texture, nice feel to the hair. It doesn't make the hair dry or brittle feeling whatsoever. And it's going to be very nourishing on the scalp as well. So for any of your platinum clients, awesome. Light is also the 7-level lightener is also really great as well. If you don't quite need 9 levels of lift, which not everybody does every single day, I go in a lot of times with my 7-level lift lightener. It's our most conventional lightener. It is, even though it's our most conventional lightener, it still has good stuff in it. It has hydrogenized collagen in it. It's really going to be conditioning and moisturizing for the hair. Again, it's not going to make the hair feel dry, brittle, or damaged. Okay. So those are my 2 lighteners that I tend to reach for the absolute most. And something I cannot live without is the anti-yellow additive down here on the bottom left. So this is a tube of what looks like color, and it is violet based. So you can take this anti-yellow lightener additive and add it into any lightener that you have. So if you guys have a favorite lightener, you guys can take this anti-yellow additive and mix it into your lightener right now. It's going to clean out and eliminate any of those yellow tones within the hair at that levels 8, 9, and 10. So it's going to mimic a toner, okay? So it's going to turn any of your lighteners into a purple-based lightener, which is very unique, very different. And again, I can't live without it. Anything you want to add to these, Candy?
Those are 2 of my absolute favorite also, and I love the anti-yellow. It just kind of saves me an extra step if I'm running behind or something. I just make sure that I use that. Another favorite of mine is actually the ice cream. I love that. It gives you a nice, clean, crisp blonde, and that doesn't go under the dryer. But it's just like extra moisturizing, and it's a cream lightener. So we don't just have the powder lighteners, we also have a cream lightener. And I think that's why I like that. I love the consistency of it, and I love like the results I get.
Perfect. I love that.
Hey, Amanda, Shauna again, sorry.
Yeah, all good.
So when you say it's the blonde, the 9-level, the ultra lifting powder, you know, I mean, if you don't need 9 levels of lift, but you would still use that, you just like it, or?
Yeah, it just, even on my hair. So on my hair, I know it's hard to tell on a screen, but on my hair, I like my ends pretty light. And I'm pretty dark naturally. Like I said, I'm about a level 3, 4. And I just find that it gets me where I need to be without going through those funky mid tones. Like it's just it's an efficient lightener. It gives me a clean lift.
Okay, so you use that more if they're darker and you want to have some low lights in there.
Some brighter highlights. Yeah.
Yeah, the
I do.
highlight,
Yeah.
sorry. not
Yeah,
logo.
I'm definitely not using it on my clients that, like, I wouldn't use it on Candy, right? Like, she's so light naturally that I wouldn't need to use it on her. So I'm definitely using it on more of my like levels. I mean, definitely two, if I'm really trying to lighten them, definitely my level 2s, but levels 5, 6, definitely. At a level 7, do I really need 9 levels of lift? No.
So like with Candy, maybe just use the 7 level.
Then I would reach for my light, correct? My 7 level lift.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. And on my hair, I'm not going in with 30 or 40 volume. I'm going in with the system 9 with 20 volume. And again, it just takes me to where I need to be
Okay.
most efficiently. Yeah.
I never go above 20 volume with any of our lighteners because I just like the way that it looks, slower is better for me.
Yeah, exactly. I am the same way, Candy. I don't need to use anything higher.
Mhm.
Occasionally, I guess I will if I'm doing open air processing where, not encapsulating it in a foil or anything like
Right.
that. But I don't reach for anything over 20 volume. Again, our developers are going to do more than most conventional developers going to do anyways.
Mhm.
So it's keeping the hair healthy. It's keeping the hair in great condition. But it's also giving me the most powerful results. I'm in Southern California doing a lot of blondes, and it takes me exactly where I need to be. Yeah. Awesome. So some of our hero products, we've talked about these, some of these in-depthly already, and we'll just go through a little bit of recap with them. These are some, if you're kind of just if you're wanting to reach out of Infinity and kind of wanting to play with something else, what would you reach for? And these are our top 5 products that we recommend you reach for. Again, we talked about B-Reds earlier. If you have any other further questions on it, we can recap them. But again, it's going to be our lift and deposit all in one single step. 15 minutes under dryer, 30 minutes without, over color treated hair or virgin hair. All right. We also have our B Brown series, which is going to be our lift and tone on our darker bases. So this comes in 3 shades, a B4, B6, and a B8. Great for color correcting work if you have someone that's an Oliver level 2. They want to go a little bit lighter. They don't want to use bleach on their hair, or they don't want to have too much of a difference. I'd maybe go in with a B6. Very natural because it's not, it is a lightener base to it, but it's not going into a straight lightener and then a toner. It appears very different on the hair. These come in a kit. So if you're curious about trying them, the B Browns and the B Reds come in a kit. So you get one of each of them with developers and a swatch chart, which is a nice way to be introduced to them. Okay.
Hey, Amanda, on
Yeah.
my hair, I'm like a level 4.
Uh-huh.
And maybe I did something wrong here. So I'm gonna tell you what I did.
Okay.
So I just highlighted my hair. So it was more of a orangey, I just wanted a few low lights in there.
Okay.
But I put the magenta, the B Reds on it.
Okay.
And I let it sit longer than it should. And it just didn't, I don't know, it looked kind of pinkish a little bit.
So magenta works very, very different. So magenta is actually intended to be on your level 6 and lighter.
Okay. Okay.
Why is that? So magenta is actually a very, very dark color. Magenta, violet, it sits very heavy. It sits in their darker levels of your swatch chart. That's typically why you only see those really pretty, like kind of plummy colors at like your 376, your 576, your 422. Okay. They all sit very heavy. It's a very heavy, dark color. So in order to see that brightness, we need to make sure that the hair is at a level 6 or lighter.
Okay. So I put it on my pieces that I had bleached out.
Mm-hmm.
So they were lighter, but it's still.
What developer did you use?
20. For the bleach, for my blonde to like lighten it a little bit. For the magenta, I used Converter.
Okay, so that could have been it. So Converter is only going to be deposit only.
Okay.
So with the B Red, if you're using Converter, you're not going to get that full liftability.
Okay.
So, and especially if you applied it before that 5 to 10 minutes, you probably got a little bit of shift, which would have opened up that cuticle a little bit more, exposing a little bit more warmth. And then you're depositing a little bit of that violet in there. So you probably underexposed it, if that makes sense.
So always maybe use 10 volume.
You would have been better going in with the 10 or 20 volume.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because
Yep.
bead reds, like that will lift too. Like if you use a 20.
Yep. Yeah. So if you look on the right here at the bottom, it tells you, it gives you a nice little cheat sheet in there on what base you're using it on, what developer you should use.
Okay.
This is pretty accurate as well, unless you're really working on someone that has a heavy dye load of color. If you're working on someone that's had a level 3 layered on their hair, I would bump it up a little bit, right? Like I would kind of up the ante a little bit more. But for the most part, this is a really great cheat sheet to go off of for anyone. But yeah, converter's not going to give you that full liftability out of the product or the full deposit out of the product.
So would you highlight them first, or would you just put this straight on like a level, any of those bases that it tells you to?
Yeah, I would just put it straight away on any of those
It will
bases.
lift
So
it.
the B reds and the B browns have that lightener agent built into it. So
Okay.
that's the great thing about it, is you don't have to pre-lighten prior. The only exception is if you're applying magenta, just because magenta, again, is such a heavy dark color. That's the only time, like I couldn't apply magenta onto my hair, onto my roots and get magenta. I would get a version of it. I would get maybe like a red violet-y kind of hue to my hair, but I'm not going to get true to swatch results.
But what if you put it on your highlights?
On my highlights, I would. Yeah, because my highlights are lighter. I would probably use 10 volume,
Okay.
maybe 20, and wear through it's a little bit, darker.
Okay.
But I would on my ends. So on my roots, I would have to go through and pre-lighten them a little bit, or soap cap them, kind of lighten them up a little bit, just because, like I said, they're about a level 3, 4. And then I could go in with magenta afterwards.
Okay. Maybe since I just wanted that tone on my lighter pieces, that, like a magenta or red violet color, I should have maybe just used an Infinity.
So, or you could have went in with just the magenta refresher.
Okay.
If you already have pre-lightened pieces, you can just go in with a refresher. Like someone asked earlier about using the B reds as a toner.
Mm-hmm.
You could have used the refresher as just the toner, and that's just the refresher out of the tube right onto the hair.
Okay.
Yep, and that could be used over pre-lightened pieces for sure.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah,
And we have a question. If a client has some gray, but lots of level 3, would you be able to use the reds to cover the gray?
So it's not going to give you coverage on the gray. It depends how much you have. If you're 90% a level 3 and only about a 10%, they're so sparsely scattered through there, you would have no problem, because it's going to give you that kind of reflection off those gray hue pieces. But also to note, any of the B red series can be intermixed with any of our Infinity series. Okay, so if you're looking to do gray coverage as well, or get even a brighter look, any of these B reds can be mixed in with Infinity. And that would help a little bit more with your gray coverage. But again, if they're under 25%, even 30% gray, I'm not really looking for a whole lot of gray coverage. I'm looking more for that brightness and that intensity, which you would be fine to use this with. Awesome, good question.
Anybody have any more questions about the B reds or the B browns, or just anything in general?
Gray coverage.
Yeah.
Troubleshooting.
Well, I have a client who, I don't know, she's like I do like level 6 at her roots, and then I pull some of those through, and then blonde, and then we do some red pieces. I just have the hardest time finding a good red for her. She likes kind of like a red violet, maybe even a little magenta sometimes, and I just don't know what color to put on some of those pieces.
Does she
I'm
want
putting them in a foil?
Does she want it magenta-y?
Probably, or even a red violet, I would say. Or a red.
Have you tried the 776?
No,
776 is beautiful.
just by itself.
Yeah.
Okay, I can highlight that in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you wanted it a little bit more red, or even a little bit more violety, you could add in some 0.76 intensive or some 0.5 intensive.
Just like a little line of it or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 10, 12, 15 grams of it.
Okay. So the 776. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll try that then.
Yeah.
And when you rinse all those colors, you know, when you're rinsing out your blondes and you're rinsing out your browns and then the reds, I do it cooler and I kind of try to rinse each foil.
I would try to isolate it. I mean, with Infinity, it is processed. It is completely oxidized already. But if you have some blonde hair that's very, very porous, you run that risk. So I would definitely kind of exactly what you're doing. Rinse it a little bit cooler, kind of try to isolate it a little bit, at least through that first shampoo that they have.
Yes, because I've come out with sometimes her ends are pink a little bit from the
Yeah,
blonde.
or you could hit those with like the Kotoko primer shampoo or the Purify shampoo, and that would probably lift it out just a little bit too.
Okay.
And we have another quick question. It's does the Be Red lighten chemically darkened hair or only virgin dark hair?
Yep, pre-colored hair as well. That's the magic to it.
The result will just be slightly darker, right?
Not necessarily. It depends
Okay.
how much again, if they're a level 3 and they're layering that level 3 on, yeah, you're gonna have probably a little bit darker of a result. But if they just do a level 3 and they're just getting the roots done every time and they're not having that color pull through every time. And also if it's an ASP color, I know if it's Infinity 3.0, I know what I'm working with. I know how that color molecule works. I'm gonna get a pretty true to swatch result if they have Infinity color on my hair. So yeah, you may have a little bit darker of a result with other color brands underneath their hair, but with ASP, with Infinity, I know what's under there.
Okay. Are we going to talk about Miracle Water? I'm so excited.
I know, isn't it great?
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about Vitaplex first, and then we can talk
Okay.
about Miracle Water, okay?
Okay.
So
I can wait.
Vitaplex, so for some of you that are newer to the brand, we have a Plex system that's very, very different than any other Plex system that you guys are probably familiar with. This is going to completely rebuild, replicate the natural structure of the hair, okay? This gives you that extra insurance to lighten, to color, to lift without compromising the hair. So again, it's that extra insurance policy that you guys have. This is a really great way to attract new clients, up your service ticket prices, and really maintain that client retention coming back into the chair. I've had clients that are new clients that maybe I do the service on the first time, that when they come back in, they say, you know, my hair's never felt healthier. My hair's never grown as long. My hair has never been this way. What did you do different? And it's really this Vitaplex service. So it's a really great way to maintain someone's hair. Again, whether a new client or a client you currently have, or a color correction client. Okay. Vitaplex is meant to be mixed into your color lightener, or you can use it as a standalone treatment as well. Okay. That's a 3-part system. We have the part 1 that is going to go into your color, your lightener, or water. And then you have your part 2, which is going to be applied on the hair for 10 minutes. And this is where the magic happens. This is where that hair is rebuilt, restructured, replicated. Okay. With Vitaplex, there's no need to bump up your developer time, your processing time, anything in between. And it is magic. Again, the hair feels silky, it feels soft, it feels thick, it feels full. It's really like nothing you guys have ever felt before. Okay. It's doing something very different than other color brands do. Other brands that have a Plex type product are working more along the disulfide bonds. We're working along the amino acid chain. The amino acid chain is what's going to give you that structure and that build to the hair, kind of like a ladder. Okay. It's going to restructure your outer arms of a ladder, which is going to enable you to build upon that and give the hair length and longevity as well. Okay. Here's a before and after picture. I love this picture because it gives a really great representation. There was no color done, nothing else done to this hair besides a water treatment. and you can see how it looks, feels, and lays so, so different. Okay. We also have a shampoo and conditioner that go to this system as well, which is a really nice take home. It's one of my best sellers for sure. It comes in this 275 ml, which is about 9 ounce, and it also comes in the half-liter sizes. I retail only the half-liter sizes because it sells and flies off my shelves. Okay. Just for you guys can access the swatch chart anywhere you want to, okay? You can keep this in your home screen as well. So you just put your QR code, your camera over the QR code, and you can actually upload this to your favorites page, which is really nice to keep at your fingertips if you need to reference anything, if you need to go back to it and you have any questions, okay? Some people like having that, which is really great. Those of you that are newer to the brand, we have really accessible education. We have our national education team that supports our tech hotline. So anytime you guys have any sort of questions that you guys need answered, reach out to that tech hotline. And we have all of our national education team, which are stylists that work behind the chair, deal with the same stuff you guys do, to answer any of your questions. We do say allow about 24 hours. I would say we pretty much get to it within the hour, but allow up to 24 hours for that. Here's some upcoming education that we have. So our next class is going to be on January 23rd, which is in 2 weeks. That's going to be with me again. And that class is for any of you guys that need questions answered. If you say, oh my gosh, I've been working with, X, Y, and Z doing whatever. I have a question on why this happened. I have a question on whatever it may be. Bring your questions to that class. If you want to pop on, ask that question and leave, that's totally fine. Okay. So it's just, we'll run about 15-30 minutes. And again, that's just for you guys, super specialized to you on any questions you have. We also have really great cutting classes, which are going to be with Nancy and Josh. We have some blonding classes, some styling classes, so all sorts of education to be inspired from. Okay, so you sign up the exact same way, logging on and registering through Laura. Okay. I just wanted to share some new stuff with you guys too. I know you guys are new to the brand, so everything's a little bit new, but this is something that we are so excited about, and it really just answered our prayers. How many of you guys have had yourself dry, brittle hair? Your clients are complaining of dry, brittle hair. Okay. Every single one of my clients are coming in and they're saying, what is so different? We've had a hard couple of years on our bodies and our hairs, and everything's just coming to a head. We needed something that gave us a little bit more moisture to our hair. And that's where Miracle Water comes in. So Miracle Water is a super great product that is going to give instant condition, instant shine to the hair. So it's going to revive your hair, revive your client's hair in under 9 seconds. It's going to give the ultimate glass-like finish. And it is like doing a clear shine at home for them every time they use it. Okay. It's really, really incredible. Candy, what do you want to say about it?
Okay, this is like one of my favorite products.
She's like, here's my list.
Yes. And it's great for all hair types. Like I have really fine hair and it doesn't weigh my hair down. A lot of like leave-in conditioners or something that gives as much shine as this usually is very heavy on my hair, but this isn't. I love how it's applied. It's applied, you shampoo, towel dry, apply it directly to the hair, and it takes just 9 seconds and the hair just feels amazing. And lightly rinse it out and style.
Yeah.
So, and
Amanda, can I say something too?
Go for it. Yeah.
Okay, this comes from the manufacturer. When this was coming down the pipe, I was looking at this and I go, oh my gosh, I can think of so many things I want to bring to our stylist. And I thought, no, this isn't one of them. So I wasn't overjoyed, but I didn't know what it was. We got it in our hands And I'm gonna tell you, I can't order enough of this. I can't keep it in stock right now, and we are going to do a social media challenge. So what I want you guys to do is, I don't care if you buy 1 bottle or 20 bottles, but I challenge you to get 1 bottle in your hand. If you don't like it, you don't ever have to use it again. But ask your distributor for it, get it in your hands, feel your hair, and we're gonna have a social media challenge in starting soon. But I challenge you to try this because I was the naysayer. I was the one who said, I don't want this product. I was wrong. This stuff is so amazing. And all I've done for the last 2 weeks is get comments and emails and phone calls at this product. And I don't say that very easily. You don't hear that coming from me very easily. So try this. Ask your distributor for Mauve Miracle Water. Get it in your hands and touch. Get it in your hair and feel your hair.
And it's really amazing because every person that I've talked about it with, every client I've talked about it with, they're like, oh, I'm sold. Oh, I'm sold. It just is so, no one is going to say no to shinier, healthier, easier, manageable hair. I mean,
And volume.
and
Yes.
so I used it the other night. And so the great thing about it is it's not something that you use every single wash. So you're only using it every other wash. And even then I still feel like it's in the hair a little
Yeah.
bit. So
Third wash.
every other wash. So I used it the
Mhm.
other night. I brushed out my hair. I did not need anything else in my hair to brush it
Mhm.
out. It's silky, it's shiny, it's soft, it blow dries out so smooth, so incredible. So it has hyaluronic acid in it. So those of you that are into skincare and using hyaluronic acid on your skin, it attaches to that water molecule. Okay. So it attaches to that, and that's what's going to drive it into the hair. It literally gives you glass-like finish to the hair. It feels different. It shines different. It's exactly what we've been wanting. Deep conditioners are great, but this is different. It hits the hair different. It hits the hair in a lightweight, shiny way. It's so different.
There was a question about like, do you use it until it's like a mousse-like consistency, or it just kind of suds gently? Like, how does it feel as you're using it?
So it'll sud. So how you are going to use it is you're going to shampoo and rinse your hair and rinse it out very well. You could do it one of 2 ways. You can either apply conditioner to your hair, rinse that out, and then apply Miracle Water, or this can replace your conditioner. I've done it both ways. I don't know that I see a miraculous difference one way or the other, but if you want to use your conditioner, that's fine. Finish with the Miracle Water. What you're going to do is you're going to towel dry your hair very, very well. And then what I actually do is shake the bottle up, and I actually just squirt it right onto my hair. And then I really go in and emulsify it. And when I'm emulsifying it, you'll get foaminess to it. So it's not going to feel like a traditional conditioner. It's not heavy. It's very liquid-like, but you're going to emulsify it. And that's when you'll get some of that moisture. It's not necessarily foamy like a traditional mousse.
Mousse.
It's not going to be it's not going to expand as much, but you're definitely going to have some of that bubbliness, more so like a shampoo sudsy.
That's what I describe it as too. So I love you saying that.
yeah, it's not, especially with our newer mousses. Our newer mousses are so thick. So that's what I kind of related. That's what I go to when I think of mousse. I guess more of like a Toko art mousse if you're really going for that route. But yeah, and then let it sit for the 9 seconds, rinse it out, and you're done.
What's
Super
the
simple.
price point?
Price point is going to be different per